Everybody take a deep breath. It's transfer portal season. Totri's scuba diving through it, and we're going to be all right. Everybody just calm down.
Ahoy, sailors. We made it to Friday. Welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils Show. I'm Anthony Totri, joined as always by Scuba Steve, also known as Erik Ruby, the Deli Man, and Pilot Pete, officially back in the chair behind the Mac, making all of that Maction happen. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a juicy 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. No spring football talk today. We are headed to the hardwood to see what Randy Bennett and company are cooking up for the future of Arizona State men's basketball. The very first incoming transfer of the Randy Bennett era has officially arrived. We're going to be talking about the newest Sun Devil and potentially some guys that could be joining Randy Bennett's squad in Tempe, Rubus. And then, of course, hot or not, at the tail end of today's show. Sounds like a beautiful mix of tomfoolery and professionalism.
I mean, I think that should be the catchphrase for this very show. But I want to start things off, Totri. And you know that when we talk basketball, we respect and we appreciate everybody's comments. But there's a certain commenter, there's a certain viewer of the show that when it's time to talk basketball, like that's where my eyes go, and that's JJ. And JJ in the chat, before our stream even started, chatted this. Said, all right, I'm feeling down on the hoops program right now. Vaughn is a nice pickup, and we've hired some solid assistant coaches. But Jop's gone, Pig's gone, no indication of a direction for this offseason. Absolutely respect the seriousness of health situations. We want Randy Bennett at full strength. Just feels as if the momentum we got 3 weeks ago has essentially dissipated. What are your thoughts on those comments from our guy JJ?
I mean, I understand it. I understand the level of maybe concern, right? There was the announcement that you were going to get the Randy Bennett introductory press conference a couple of weeks ago. He had the health situation. I know that it's something he's still dealing with, getting over. So he's not going to have an introductory press conference, I would imagine, anytime soon. At this point, I figure they'll probably wait until the roster is completely kind of set. That way he does the one media availability. He has introductory presser. He can answer questions about the new look roster, the new assistants. So I imagine you won't hear from Randy Bennett for quite some time, right? Just based off the fact now that they are in transfer portal season mode where they're going every day, all day, trying to really craft and build a very important roster. So I understand that. I think as it relates to the situation with some of the players, Masamba Jop, you saw that Pig Johnson entered the portal. Some of those other Arizona State Sun Devils, you had Truett enter the other day, Miusin. The list kind of goes on and on, right? I would say in terms of the level of concern or frustration as it relates to that, I would just say that this is not new. This is something that Bobby had to deal with every single offseason, right? Where you bring in 12 to 14 guys, they're here, and then maybe one or two will stay. That would have been the same case if Bobby Hurley was still the coach at Arizona State, in my mind, that you would have lost the majority of this roster to other schools, right? For a number of different reasons. So I don't think that because you're having these players transfer out that it's a major concern. I think you expect this anytime you have a new head coach on the scene, and that's what you have, right? I think we can go back and we can talk about how Arizona State got to this point of, this particular point in the program. And I would argue that it's a fresh start, right? Has it been the illustrious, most amazing, rainbow-filled start to an era in college basketball history? No, right? Life happens. Health always comes first, and I know that they're dealing with it. They're taking it very seriously. But I think in terms of momentum, concern, these are things maybe that it's more valid to feel that way after you see kind of how the roster looks, right? And right
Yeah.
now, the roster is still thin. They added somebody today who I know we'll talk about here in just a little bit. But I would say hold the sentiment of concern and frustration until you see what the roster looks like and maybe potentially how it could gel in this Randy Bennett system. But again, ASU fans, ASU basketball fans specifically, Erik, they've been jaded, right? They've been hurt by
Sure.
this program for years at this point.
Well, and I think that the feelings I completely understand, and it's tough to not have an introductory press conference. But let's be honest here, Totri. Like the introductory press conference is more for like us, right? And
Yeah.
it's not for the program. Like no commit is going to be watching, or a potential transfer portal target is going to be watching Randy Bennett's introductory press conference and choose ASU because of it, or vice versa, not choose ASU because Randy Bennett hasn't done his introductory press conference yet, right? So these are things that it would be nice to have, and I think it would make everybody feel better to be able to sit down and hear Randy Bennett's vision for the program, hear Graham Rossini talk about it, like put a voice to it, in an ASU polo or shirt or whatever he's going to be wearing, because we've seen that really help spark things like ASU women's basketball, like ASU football, to kind of usher in this new era. So I understand that we want to see it and that it sucks that we haven't, and it's very unorthodox that we haven't. I would consider this a very unorthodox situation, and it's slightly concerning, right? Because it's into the unknown when you're already in the unknown so much, completely changing over the program. As far as guys entering the portal, this is just the way that it is. ASU was not going to be able to retain Jop if they had a vision or if they didn't have a vision. They don't have the money to do it, right? And then look, I love Pig Johnson, right? And I thought Musin was a good player, but let's just be honest here. We're losing players that were on a lower middle of the pack Big 12 team.
They
And
were on a
that was
bad
like,
basketball team. We can call it what it is. It was a bad
I mean, like
basketball team.
and the thing is, like, they were better than people expected them to be, but like they weren't good, right? And it's not anything against these players, but like those are Bobby Hurley's players. That is Bobby Hurley's era. That is Bobby Hurley's roster. These are guys that chose ASU probably only because of Bobby Hurley, if we're being completely honest with you. So Randy Bennett's going to have a hard time retaining those guys no matter what, right? Okay, I'm not Bobby Hurley. In fact, I'm very different than who Bobby Hurley is as a coach. Take that however you may, but he's a very different coach than Bobby Hurley. This is a different era of ASU basketball. And even if it wasn't, guess what? Rosters change, people transfer. So I think all of these things happening at once does kind of give off the wrong impression about maybe where ASU men's basketball is versus where people expected them to be to usher in this new era. But I'm not worried about this at all, man. I'm really not. Because at the end of the day, they didn't hire Randy Bennett to win in the portal or to win at recruiting. I think he needs to do an okay job at those things. Obviously, any coach does. They hired Randy Bennett so that when the ball tips off opening night, like they have a well-coached team. And I don't think anything that's happening right now is going to stop that from happening.
No, you brought him in here to win, right? And just because fans want players to stay, right? A Truett, a Musin, doesn't mean that Randy Bennett wanted those guys on his team, right? Like those guys were Sun Devils. They weren't at St. Mary's with Randy Bennett. Randy Bennett's in Tempe now. He calls the shots. Ultimately, it's very easy to just say, hey, maybe you should hit the portal. And that happens more often than not, right? In not just men's basketball, but really all sports. Just because a player leaves doesn't necessarily mean that it was the player's choice to ultimately leave. This is part of the impact now of NIL and the portal, is it's very easy for ASU and all these other programs to look at a player and see what they did last year, or maybe how they don't fit in a system or how they do, and say, you know what? Maybe it is of your best interest to hit the portal, right? And I think for a number of these guys, that was probably the conversation of like, hey, we appreciate what you did in Tempe last year or over the course of the last 2 years. It's probably best that you seek other opportunities because we're going to be bringing in our own guys, right? Something that sticks with me a lot is when we had Brian Carrington in studio a few months ago, and he was talking about really that first year for ASU football. And he was talking about that first year, it was a lot of cooking with someone else's groceries, right? Of like, you get in the kitchen and you don't know where anything is. You don't know what do you have here. And then ultimately, as the head coach, as the staff, you're required to try and fix something up, right? That is not going to be the case for ASU men's basketball. right? Randy and this new staff, they're bringing in their guys, players that they feel like fit the system now that they're going to implement at ASU. And at the end of the day, like Michael says, just win. If you win, all the other stuff, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if they did it with Truett. Doesn't matter if they did it with Jop. Doesn't matter if they did it with Pig Johnson. Doesn't matter if they did it with some of the new players that are going to be in here in Tempe. There's going to be a whole hell of a lot of them, right? In the same vein that ASU fans 365 days ago had no idea who Masamba Jop was, and here we are 365 days later, and they're all like, man, what a bummer, right? We love Jop. We'd love to have Jop another year. You're going to get a whole new batch of players that ASU fans, I'm sure 365 days from now, are going to be like, man, I really hope this guy stays. I really hope this guy's a Sun Devil for a long time. And I think, in all honesty, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, I think you're going to have an easier job retaining talent with Randy Bennett at the helm than you did with Bobby Hurley. I think that's what it's going to be. I think you're potentially going to get more investment from the athletic department and donors as soon as Randy Bennett actually gets into like legit basketball mode of, okay, we are executing game plans. We're playing Big 12 opponents. Once the season starts to roll around, right? Once you earn it, I think that's what you're going to get. And I think this basketball program is going to look completely different. And I get why that's maybe a little scary. But on the flip side of it, you're coming from a scary place. You're coming from a dark era of Arizona State men's basketball the last 2-3 seasons, right? You're at the floor. You're at the very bottom. The only place to go is up, okay? And I think talking about some of these players that Arizona State is going to go after, some of the ones they've already been in contact with, is a big way to get people and get really the fan base bought back into the program. And you're going to see a vision. You're going to see a model for how Randy Bennett and this staff want to build year over year and how they want to develop. That was a big, I would argue that's probably number 2 on the things that Bobby Hurley, in my eyes, failed to do at Arizona State, aside from win. It was develop players and get them to the NBA, right? Like, how many players under Bobby Hurley went pro, right? How many stayed another year because they were like, damn, I feel like this is the best spot for my growth as a basketball player, right? It was a small list. I think you're going to get more of that now in Tempe. And it started off, of course, today with Arizona State landing LSU transfer Marcus Vaughns, Erik, a 6'8" forward, somebody that didn't play last year at LSU. I think over the last, 4 years, Arizona State has kind of made it a habit to go sniff around Baton Rouge and go get a player from LSU. I think most recently was Sean Phillips a couple years ago. They brought him over from LSU.
My guy, Sean Phillips.
Yeah. Your guy, Sean Phillips and Malik McLean, man. I think Marcus Vaughns, just watching kind of what he did prior to landing at LSU, I think there is a lot of hope for what this kid can kind of develop into as a player.
Yeah, I think hope is a really good word, right? Because he didn't play at LSU. You can go back and you can watch some of his highlights from, guess where? You'll never guess it. Australia, because that's where he's from. Randy Bennett loves his Australians, specifically from the U18 championship tournament in Australia. And this is a guy that fits like the Randy Bennett system. So when we talk about these players that are leaving, like a Pig Johnson, right, who's a fun player to watch, that's not a Randy Bennett type of player. Like, let's just be honest, he's not. This is a Randy Bennett type of player. Now, obviously, like, different positions. Marcus Vaughns is a wing, a little bit bigger. I will say I'll start with a not a concern, but just don't expect to see a lot of jump shots out of Marcus Vaughns.
Yeah.
He's able to hit it, but you could just tell by a guy and how he shoots that that's not going to be his bread and butter. But dude, this guy's everything else. Athletic, good defender, great rebounder, can finish around the rim, super fluid, finishing around the rim, either off the dribble or off of, a pass. I don't think he's going to go out there and be a guy that you're going to dump it down to in the post and he's going to make a move or isolation scoring, but he's going to be able to finish plays. He's going to be able to rebound. He's going to be able to defend at the rim or switch out on the perimeter as a 6'8" guy. So I'm a big fan of just who he is as a player. Obviously, you are kind of not, I'd say, going for a risk, but just into the unknown because you haven't seen this guy play in college basketball. But a lot of the times, these small things like athleticism, he has a good nose for rebounding, even on the offensive rebounding side of things. He's able to rise up, read the ball off of where the misses are. So this is a guy that in a system that's going to prioritize defense and it's going to prioritize slow games, I think that he's going to be able to thrive on both sides of the ball. hypothetically, obviously. But one of the top players out of Australia in his class as well. So it's nice. It's not somebody who went out there and was averaging, like 14-7 in college, which would also be nice to get as well, to get somebody who's actually succeeded in college basketball. But I'm a fan of this pickup.
Yeah, prior to committing to LSU, he participated in the G League Showcase in 2024. He was the MVP of the 2024 Nike All Asian Camp. He's a four-star recruit, ranked, I want to say, number 92 in recruiting rankings when he did sign with LSU. So somebody who was maybe not as highly touted as like a top 50, top 75 player, but still in the top 100 of his class, and somebody that has ties to David Patrick. I would say when you kind of look at this staff and how it's being built, they got guys that they know can go in the portal and go in the high school ranks and go get the types of players that they want. David Patrick was actually at LSU and was a big part in why Marcus Vaughns actually committed to LSU initially. They've known each other since Vaughns was a little kid, since he was about 5 years old. So that is a big reason why Arizona State was able to land Marcus Vaughns. And I think David Patrick, one of the new associate head coaches for ASU, among some of the other key assistant coaches, are going to be a big reason why Arizona State land some of the players that they do in the transfer portal. And you did bring up the fact that he's Australian. There is that tie. We know Randy Bennett loves his Aussies, and I would imagine you're going to get several more on this roster before it is completely complete. And I think, again, watching just some of the rough highlights from a guy like Marcus Vaughns, who it's tough to totally sink your teeth into it because there isn't the, hey, this is what he did at LSU last year, right?
Right.
You see kind of the vision that you said, kind of maybe how this guy can thrive at Arizona State as a wing. Again, 6'8", somebody that just watching him is always cutting to the basket. Feels like he does have a pretty high basketball IQ, which is something I think you're going to see a lot of for these types of players. At least when it comes to Arizona State landing them, is maybe they aren't athletic freaks that you're accustomed to seeing here or there, like a Masamba Diop, a Jaden Quaintance, a Josan Sannon. What they are going to look for is they're going to look for very cerebral type players, Erik, that they can execute the fundamentals well, they can execute the system well offensively, and they play really, really hard on defense.
Yeah, he's a pretty good passer. It's obviously not where the offense is going to be running through him as a forward, but he's not afraid to handle the ball, especially off of rebounds, pushing it up the court. He's got a long wingspan too. I mean, the more that I watched of him, and obviously like these are highlights, so it is what it is. But it's an Australian basketball pathways video. It's like 6 minutes long. It's really, really, really good just to kind of get an idea, as I was going to pull it up here so I could drop the link in the chat for people if they want to watch. And then the video just started playing. But it's kind of a good breakdown of just like, hey, these are all the different things that he can do. And I think versatile is a really good option. Again, I don't expect him to be shooting, but cerebral is a good word to put it. Good passer, good rebounder, good defender. I think a plus, plus, plus athlete as well. Obviously not like one of these freaks like Josan Sannon, who's like, you've got a crazy smooth touch and you're uber quick, but really good vertical jump, really good second jump, really good instincts. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this is somebody who could end up starting for ASU next year. He has dreams of going to the NBA. I think he has expectations of going to the NBA. It's why he played in the G League Ignite Showcase. It's why he went to LSU. Obviously didn't work out at LSU, so go play for Randy Bennett, who's seen some success a little bit with NBA players.
More
None
so than
really of
Bobby.
Marcus. Yeah, yeah. I mean, besides Lou, but like none really of Marcus Vaughn's kind of like play style. So I am intrigued. I do feel like the addition of him and J. Rob Croy, 2 4 stars, is a good start. And maybe people would feel differently about this if, again, we had a press conference and there wasn't the health stuff looming. But I think these are two good additions. Like, these aren't like 2 stars that you're gonna have to like break the mold with. Like, these are good players. Like, I was a big fan of J Rob too. And so I think Marcus and J Rob are two guys that could end up being in the rotation. I think if I had to pick one to possibly start, it would be Marcus Vaughn. But it would also depend on who else fills out in the roster.
I want to get to Noah's comment here. This is a really awesome comment from Noah saying, first time streamer, I mostly listen on audio. I love this show so much. Feels like I'm back at school talking about ASU sports with my buds again. Thanks for what you guys do. Go Devils. We appreciate you, Noah, and everybody else who watches on the daily, listens, and doesn't even pop in the stream. You guys make it possible so we're able to do this and give you guys the latest what's going on with ASU. And to your point, Erik, about Marcus Vaughns, now you've got 3 players on the roster, right? You have Marcus Vaughns, the LSU transfer. You're going to have J. Rob Croy, still one of the best names for ASU basketball. And then you still have Bryce Ford, right? You still have Bryce Ford, who said that he's going to be back at ASU. And I want to dive a little bit deeper into some players that Arizona State is in contention for, some players that Arizona State is targeting in the transfer portal. And we're going to talk about those players on the other side of our first break. Hey, I'm talking to you. That's right. The daily PHNX listener and viewer of the PHNX Sun Devils Show, but realistically any show here at PHNX Sports. We want to hear from you. All you got to do, take a short survey, let us know what you love and how we can be better here at PHNX, and you guys are going to have the chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card just for telling us what you think of what's going on here at PHNX. Obviously, if you're a follower of the PHNX Sun Devil Show, then you're already somebody with great taste and impeccable judgment. Now, head over to gophnx.com/survey today to get signed up. And if you're watching us, you guys can, of course, scan that QR code right there on the screen. It takes about 3 minutes tops, and your feedback is going to help shape what we do around here on the daily. So don't you wish that Arizona State Athletics would give you this opportunity to hear your feedback? Well, we're doing that right here at PHNX Sports. Let your voice be heard. Make sure you take the survey today. Scan the QR code on the screen or head to gophnx.com/survey. Again, that's gophnx.com/survey.
Totri, let's play a little game. You ready?
Okay.
I'm going to say a word. You're going to tell me if you want more of that word in your life. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Relaxation.
More.
Celebration.
More.
Vacation.
More, please.
Seems like a pretty easy game, and if you want to have some fun playing some easy games, go check out Multiplier Scratchers from our friends over at Arizona Lottery, where you can multiply the good things in life, like vacation, relaxation, and celebration, because with over $270 million in prizes, you could win big enough to do more of the things that you love. Multiplier tickets start at just $1 and have prizes up to $5 million. And also, don't forget about triple-themed games, triple games with triple the fun. Play triple red sevens or triple cash payout scratchers for the chance to win top prizes of $100,000. Find all 3 tickets at a retailer near you, and with access to over 3,500 retailers across the state, you can play whenever and wherever you'd like.
Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. I love that we're talking hoops today because we do have the Deli Man back behind the Mac. Of course, he is an ASU hooper himself, not somebody that I guess played for ASU basketball, but somebody who is an intramural legend, I would say, for Arizona State basketball. Shane, what are your thoughts so far, kind of over the last few weeks with ASU hoops? Of course, the Randy Bennett stuff, and then also the addition of Marcus Vaughns.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little disappointing the way this has started, obviously. Hope that everything turns out okay and we're back on track and everything's flowing here in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I mean, so far so good. You brought over some pretty good recruiting assistant coaches. You have some lines in the water. There's like the stuff's moving. It's a new era. It's not going to be easy. I don't expect this team to be in the top half of the Big 12 next year, but things are fine. This pickup is solid. It's an unknown, highly recruited kid. Aussie. Like, it was always going to be the case.
What's the over under on Australian players?
5.5.
5.5.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty high over or under.
It's looking the same areas roster the last couple of years.
Yeah,
it's like literally like 6 to 8 of them. I would like to. You know what I'd really like? I'd like them to dip into the well of LSU a little more.
Yeah.
See if they can get it would be a long shot, but their point guard, Dayton Thomas, who was just ridiculous this last year, he's in the portal. I expect him to go to Kentucky or something, but you never know. It's a long shot. Could happen. So far so good.
Maybe he wants to be a Sun Devil, man. You never know at this point in time. But yeah, Marcus Vaughns set to transfer to ASU. But there is a long list of players that ASU is in contention for. A couple players that are set for visits in Tempe either this weekend or coming soon. Erik, we briefly touched on Andrew Meadow yesterday, a 6'7", I want to say guard or forward over at Boise State. He finished the season last year with 6 straight games scoring in double figures. 2 seasons ago, as a sophomore at Boise State, actually started 35 of 37 games for the Broncos. So somebody that has played a lot of college basketball over the last several seasons. No, it hasn't been, for a P4 team, but somebody that, again, I think if Arizona State could land, it would be another solid piece in terms of just continuing to add to this roster. Somebody that is a veteran, somebody that you could expect to be a little bit more of a scorer than maybe what your expectation is for a guy like Marcus Vaughns.
Yeah, again, getting somebody who's played actual college basketball is always going to be good for a college basketball team. I know that's a very, very hot take for me to say, but at the end of the day, some people might feel concerned not getting big names. I think this coaching staff identifies, certain players that they want. And I think Andrew Meadow is somebody who has a good basketball IQ, kind of like what you had talked about before. Not the flashiest name, not the flashiest player, but just really, really solid, able to score a little bit and is a starter the last couple of years. So, I mean, I'm not going to go out here and tell you that going and getting an Andrew Meadow is going to completely change this roster. But if you can have up and down in the Big 12 or in any power conference, just a roster full of very smart basketball players, that's going to help you pick up wins that you probably weren't supposed to get. And we talk about some of these guys that Bobby's losing, and like, over the years, sometimes Bobby's roster, it felt like, didn't have that basketball IQ, right? It was more just, hey, where's the talent at? What's your
Yeah.
overall, like, just ceiling as a talented athletic basketball player? So I would like Andrew Meadows. I don't think that I would feel just satisfied if Andrew Meadows ends up being, the best player that you get in the portal. But able to do a little bit as well, like drive to the rim, finish at the rim, shoot the ball decently well as well, which is also something that you always need somebody to do. And let's just be honest here, Totri, the look is amazing. He's got the goggles, he's got the long hair. Like that's a Shane guy for sure.
Every great team in the history of sports has had one guy that has at one point in his life wore goggles.
No.
Yes.
No, not
He's
true.
not actually a Shane guy, Erik. Shane doesn't mess with this guy's look.
That is not what I said.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what
Totri asked me. He said, I got to show you this guy. And then I was like, oh, is it the goggles kid? And he goes, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I don't want him. It has nothing to do with his look.
I took it strictly as
Why
he
don't
didn't
you
like
want
him
him?
because of the goggles.
Because
If he didn't have goggles, he had contacts instead.
what were we doing in the Bobby Hurley era that just did not work for the past 5 years in the transfer portal?
That didn't work in the transfer portal?
You were taking guys from non-power forward schools, and
And
you were trying to make them play in
is
And Goggles? Is
Yeah.
that his name? If he's here, his name's Goggles.
David Goggles.
David Goggles?
but Shane, I
was
hear
good.
you. I'm not saying that he, like, if I had to make a list, but like he's not a bad player, man. Like he's pretty, like
He's not a bad
he's
player.
pretty decent. He can do a little
Doesn't-
bit of everything.
It's nothing to do with that. And just I want a different direction. Go get me
You want P4 guys.
P4 guys. And if you're going to get a guy from a mid-major, high mid-major, it's got to be one of the best players in the country at their position for something. Like, you have to get one of the best scorers in the group of 5. You have to get one of the best assist to turnover ratios in the group of 5, like Mo Odom. Like, even that doesn't work. So
But it didn't work with Bobby. Not to say that those players couldn't win if they
Sure.
had a system around them,
sure.
or if there were different players conjoined.
Look,
kind of
I'm not nixing the idea of my power. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say, if anybody loves a mid-major, it's you.
I do, but I
I'm about to
like
say this is a shocking development.
mid-major players that'll translate.
So, but why won't he translate?
What's
I
it-
feel like we don't know if these guys are going to translate because we haven't seen Randy's system here. Like, it worked at St. Mary's.
What's this
And
guy's
the
name
thing-
again?
Andrew Meadow.
Andrew-
My favorite
so
thing
the
so
thing-
far today through a half hour on this show is Erik saying Marcus Vaughn and then Andrew Meadows and just carrying the S from Vaughns and giving it to Meadow.
Yeah, my bad.
No, it's good.
Here,
It's made my day thus far.
so watching Meadow play, I think the reason why I'm not going to say he's going to go and be a star in the Big 12, right? I think if you get this guy, he's like your fifth starter. He's coming off the bench, but he can just do a little bit of everything. Like he could shoot. He's actually a pretty physical player. I know he doesn't maybe look like it just from appearances, but he's not afraid of contact and finishing
Just
at the
everyone
rim.
shitting on
Well, no, I
David
mean, just
Goggles
like
is crazy.
I think that you look at a player like that, and you're like, that guy's not a guy who's gonna go take it to the cup and play physical. Like, yeah, he's a guy who takes it to the cup and plays physical, right?
Well,
So
my biggest issue with what you just said is he does everything well. He does everything okay. He good at that level of basketball. You push it up a notch, then he's just going to do everything okay at the Power
in
5
theory.
level.
But again, he's got a
yeah, but
different
like
coach.
I'm
It's a
not
different
I'm
program.
not talking about this guy's gonna be your
Players go
star
from
player.
Players
You
go
need
from
to put a
mid-majors to
roster.
P4s and they produce. Like Mo Odom last year.
Yeah, and Mo Odom was putting up gaudy stats.
Yeah, by himself, like playing on a team where there was no offensive chemistry, where there was no offensive system.
I'm saying putting up gaudy's a good thing. Gaudy stats at the group of 5 level.
Yeah.
This guy's putting up 12, 3, and 1 at Boise State.
Yeah, but you would take 12, 3, and 1 here.
You're not getting 12, 3,
You
and
don't
1.
know that though.
I'll bet you money if this kid commits here, he is not averaging 12 points a game.
Let's see what the rest of the roster.
But okay,
is
but
around
Shane, you don't have a roster right now. You have 3 players on the roster.
Yeah.
Like you need somebody.
Okay, let me see. There's 956 players in the transfer portal right now, Erik. There's a lot of choices.
This guy's the worst. This guy just sucks.
He's not-
This
no,
is shocking.
That's not what Shane's saying. That's not what Shane's saying. Shane's saying that he just doesn't want mid-major guys. He wants like a new era of ASU basketball to kind of go a different direction with the roster
Not that I don't
construction.
want mid-major guys.
And I think that's fair.
You go get somebody from the MAC that's scoring 25 points a game, I'll take him. You go get a guy from IPFW that's averaging like 15 points a game on 43% three-point shooting, I'll take him. I don't want a kid from Boise State who doesn't do anything great. That's not going to work here, and it hasn't worked here.
You're totally entitled to your opinion. And I don't know if he's going to come here and be, take his game to the next level or what it's going to be, but I know that he's played a lot of college basketball, and right now you have a lot of guys. I mean, not a lot of guys. You have 3 guys on your roster, and none of them have played a lot of basketball at this level, period. So I think just getting somebody that has been around college basketball that long, especially considering you probably are going to have to settle with maybe more younger players than the previous regime did. I don't think it's horrible to get somewhat of a veteran kind of in the locker room or on the bench.
If this was August, I would agree with you.
In August,
cast a wider net right now.
Okay, but again, they are right. This is just somebody on the list,
and I would rather have somebody else, and that's my whole argument.
Okay, and that's fair.
Guys,
Erik, you were gonna say something.
I'm just gonna say like. Yeah, if this is the only guy you're getting in the portal and this is your big fish, then that's disappointing. This is a guy on your roster. I think
he's not even a big fish. He's a mid fish.
He's a 2-year starter at Boise State. He shoots nearly 40% from 3. He's 6'7". Like he shoots over 50% from the field last season. Like there are much worse players out there than a 2-year starter who's averaging 12 points per game.
I would have never guessed that this would have been such a contentious topic between everybody.
Like I don't disagree with Shane where it's like, yeah, I want other players too. I want power 4 players. I want guys that have gone and proved it. I want players who are the best at what they do. But again, like you're also Arizona State, who's going through a coaching change, and you're in the Big 12. Like this transfer cycle, this portal cycle, you're not going to get probably the best that Randy Bennett should be able to get maybe in a couple of years. Like,
why?
Because that's not really how it works. Like you when you transfer over to places and you're a new coach, yeah, you can bring maybe over some talent from St. Mary's, and we'll talk about that here in a second, right? But you go over to Arizona State, you do not have a lot of NIL money, you don't have good facilities, you have no like, hey, we've been at Arizona State, like I've been at St. Mary's, I've been winning at St. Mary's, like that's different. So to me, it's like I would expect some good players. I don't think Andrew Meadow is a bad player. I don't think he's going to be the best player that you get in the portal. I'd like to get better players as well, but you need somebody on the roster and give it a couple years. And I think, okay, well, Randy Bennett's established a track record of success here at Arizona State. Then it's like, okay, then why are we going over for non-power 4 players and non-like elite of the elite in a non-power 4 level? Like that to me is just, my expectations are different.
When you've been recruiting for 30 years, I disagree with that. I think you can bring over people faster than other people think. I'll end this conversation on this. He is 6'7". How many blocks did he have last year at Boise State? Total. No, don't look. I'm asking you a question.
7.
1. Case closed. No thanks.
How many steals did he have?
that doesn't mean 18.
Not horrible. Not horrible.
All right, let's move on.
I think again, and I think I'm somewhere in between, because I agree kind of with both of you. I see both your sides here, but like I think there's a vision of, like, Randy wants a certain type of player, and I think he sees a more cerebral aspect to Andrew Meadow than somebody that is just a ridiculous
Totri.
shooter, a ridiculous scorer.
Totri.
I think he does. I think he does. What? Just because he's got goggles, he can't be smart?
No.
He can't have a high IQ when it comes to basketball? Like, I think there's a path to that. And then I think, to counter Eric's point, like, I do think they're going to be able to get some bigger name guys, because Randy has been doing this for quite some time. And not to, like, the scale that Cactus Johnny's saying of, like, Patino sure didn't have any problems recruiting in year 1 at St. John's. Yeah, that's Patino, right? We're talking about a top 3 college basketball coach, top 5 college basketball coach of all time. Randy Bennett's not that guy.
Do
right?
cerebral players have a negative assist to turnover ratio?
Okay,
he's gonna die on this hill.
First of all, I
love you, Shane.
I am floored. I am just floored at where this conversation has gone.
Well, you guys think I'm just some all welcoming portal machine that's like any weird looking guy from the Power 4 I want. No, I don't. I want to make sure they're a good player. You'd call him cerebral. He's got a negative assist to turnover ratio.
Okay.
Case closed.
Unlucky.
Okay.
Could just be unlucky.
Okay. I will say this as well.
You're not wrong.
I am not saying that Randy Bennett will not be able to get good players this portal cycle. That should still be the expectation.
Portal machine.
Like, this guy, if he comes here, will probably just be a bench piece to come in and shoot threes at the small forward position.
Why do you want that, man?
Because
why do you guys want this?
You can't just go out there and just every player you get is a Power 4 starter, 4-star, 5-star. Like, we are Arizona.
Eric, I get it, but it's you're screaming too loud. Your mic's not picking up. I get what you're saying. It's April 10th.
Yeah.
Why
3 days into the portal?
I don't want to be going after these guys right now.
Okay, and that's fair. Can I interest you at all in Dillan Shaw?
Of course.
Because Dillan Shaw is set to take a visit to Arizona State as well in the coming future. We're going to tell you about Dillan Shaw, a former player under Randy Bennett at St. Mary's, and several others on the other side of our second. I'm going to let you guys in on what I'm going to be doing this weekend. Starting tonight, I'm going to be Ubering over to an unnamed movie theater. I'm going to be taking some pure edibles, and I'm going to be indulging and just having a baller time watching the new Mario movie. I feel like movies, pure edibles, they go together great, but so does posting up on your couch, watching the NBA, watching MLB, or just watching your favorite show at home. But a big component, of course, are the uplifting effects of those pure edibles. I'm somebody that enjoys edibles, but I don't like the taste of traditional edibles that taste like weed, leave a weird aftertaste in your mouth. That is not the case with our friends over at Pure Edibles, and that's because Pure is a full-fledged candy company offering gummies. They've got Kicks, which are their version of Starburst, chews, soft candies like caramel, and then hard candies as well. And Pure clearly lists the effects on each tin so you know exactly what effects you guys can expect. And Pure gummies, they're designed to be ripped or bit in half, making them easily shareable or easy to dial in your exact dose. So it doesn't matter if you're on the couch, you're at the movie theaters, or if you're hanging out by the pool. Check out our friends over at Pure Edibles. Go find yourself some Pure Edibles products from one of the over 130 dispensaries across Arizona, now including True Leaf.
If you're an Arizona State fan, you know about branded bills. If you're a PHNX Sun Devils fan, you know about branded bills, because for years we've been talking to you about how amazing our friends over at Branded Bills are. I mean, you see the Sun Angel Collective hat right here. This one just might be my favorite. I happen to wear it quite a bit, but it never wears down. I've washed it, I've worn it, but it looks just as good as new because Branded Bills hats are high quality. Whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitted beanies, or tees, Brandon Bills has you covered with performance and with style. Plus, they have partnerships with Arizona State University and the Phoenix Suns and other universities across the country. And they also want to have a partnership with you. Just like that, a partnership with us. You can find our Brandon Bills hats on our PHNX locker. And if you have a small business, a big business, a fantasy football league, just something that needs apparel, Brandon Bills has you covered, and their dedicated team will help you create the best custom apparel in the game. Plus, they're a local company out of Mesa, Arizona. So you've got to go over to brandonbills.com. Use code BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. That's brandonbills.com. Use code BBPHNX for 15% off your first order.
Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review for David Goggles. Z-Man in the chat says we need cheap, cost-effective, valuable depth. But moving on from Andrew Meadow, since he is a contentious player, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Dillan Shaw, who's set to visit Arizona State as well. Played for Randy Bennett last year as a freshman at St. Mary's, averaged 7.5 points per game, 5.4 rebounds per game. He had some really big games down the stretch for St. Mary's without necessarily scoring a ton. I would argue maybe his best game was against Gonzaga toward the end of the season when St. Mary's actually beat them. He had 10 boards, 4 assists, 3 blocks, 3 steals. Didn't score in that game, but did a lot of stuffing the stat sheet around that. If you're looking for some of the games where he did score, there was a point earlier in the season where he played the Seattle Redhawks, scored 20 points, 7 boards, 6 assists. Somebody that can kind of do it all. Again, did it at St. Mary's. And if Arizona State is able to land him, somebody that I think you would look at probably as a day one starter for Arizona State, Erik.
I don't know, Totri. Here on April 10th, I don't want to get a non-power 4 guy who's only averaging 7.5 points, 5.4 rebounds. I really only want a power 4 guy that's like one of the best at what they do specifically.
Hey,
so
jackass.
I don't know if I like this one. I don't know if I like this one.
I'll let you sit in that stupid ass statement.
Oh my gosh, man. Look, he's 6'7". He was the highest rated commit in St. Mary's program history when he committed to St. Mary's, prior to last season. So I think it would be a solid get for Arizona State if they're able to get Dillan Shaw. Ironically enough, this is somebody that at the high school ranks played for the Compton Magic, and he played alongside none other than Koa Pete, who we know, Erik, is a future Arizona State Sun Devil at this point in time.
That's right.
So I think, again, you struck out on Koa. Why not go get his former teammate in Dillan Shaw? I think it would be a solid addition if we're being completely honest.
I was completely joking, by the way. It's just perfect time to take a shot. I'm completely joking, though. This kid's got it, man. Like, he's 6'7" forward. He's lanky. He can shoot a little bit. Like, the jump shot looks smooth. I know that scoring isn't maybe his number one thing, but a great nose for the boards. That game before the Gonzaga game, I think he had 14 rebounds. Yeah, he had 14 and 10. The game before, the game that you mentioned that might be his best, also against Gonzaga earlier in the season, back in January, he had 13 points against them, so he was able to do a little bit of scoring as well. So to me, this is a guy that I don't know how many other St. Mary's players are going to be following Randy Bennett to Arizona State. They had a lot of really talented players enter the portal. Dillan Shaw was not one of their best players last season, but I think he probably has the highest potential for next season. Although I don't know. I mean, they had some really good players, but I'm really high on year 2 of Dillan Shaw, especially as an offensive leap. This is, to me, a must get in the portal.
Yeah, I think this would be a massive, whether he's the second or third or whatever portal guy to commit to ASU. I think it would be big. And there's a longer list of players that have ties to Randy Bennett and really this staff that Arizona State is in play for. There's been reports that ASU has reached out to Sam Houston's Jacob Walker, who was in the transfer portal. He was a freshman last year at Sam Houston as a guard, averaged 11.5 points per game, shot 43% from the floor. Not somebody, again, that is doing it against really, really high level of competition. But there was a stretch at one point last year, really toward the end, where he went for 23 points against Delaware. He went for 23 points the game before against Missouri State, then 20 points against FIU. That was in a 3-game stretch where he just really couldn't miss. So again, potentially adding a guard to this roster. Again, not somebody that's done it at a high level against P4 competition, but somebody that Arizona State has explored interest in. Another guard that Arizona State has ties to that I think would be awesome just for the name alone is Victorious Miller. The reason I love this outside of the name is the way he spells Victorious. It's spelled Vyctorius. I think that is a phenomenal way to spell that name. But he's an Arizona guy. He started Arizona Prep School, AZ Compass Prep. And the big one is he's got ties to David Patrick, right? Who we talked about earlier was a big reason why Arizona State was able to land Marcus Vaughns. Victorious Miller actually played his first year at LSU, where David Patrick was at. He transferred out last offseason, went and played at Oklahoma State, so he's familiar with the Big 12. But somebody that at Oklahoma State last year, as a 6'5" guard, averaged 10 points per game, 2 boards, and just under 2 assists. How do you feel about the prospects of adding potentially Jacob Walker and then Victorious Miller?
Jacob Walker would be nice. I mean, you always want some scoring, but I think Victorious Miller would be an awesome addition. 6'5" guard. One thing that you'll notice with a lot of these players that we are talking about here in this Randy Bennett system is that they're pretty lanky. And when you're going to be a defensive oriented, slow team, like you need that size. But Victorious Miller, he's good at driving to the rim, not afraid of contact, has put a couple guys on posters this year, but also has an outside game as well, can shoot the three, can shoot off the dribble. Not exactly somebody that you'll take to run the offense, even though he might be playing as a point guard. He's a little bit more of a play finisher, especially at Oklahoma State, shot a lot of catch and shoot threes, which he was able to hit or drives to the rim. But I mean, I'm all in on a 6'5" guard that can shoot the three and drive to the rim that's played in the Big 12. That's very important as well. So if I had to choose one, I'll take Victorious Miller because he showed some flashes over there at Oklahoma State and self-creation, shooting, defense, driving to the rim. I would really enjoy a 6'5" guard that can do a little bit of all of that.
Yeah, the defense is big here, just not just for Victorious, but like you said, kind of the system, right? You hang your hat on defense and then you play kind of slow, methodical offense. Victorious had 9 games last year at Oklahoma State where he had double-digit steals as a 6'5" guard. There were a couple games, one game specifically against FIU where he had, or this is Jacob Walker, excuse me. Jacob Walker had 9 games of double-digit steals.
Of double-digit steals?
Double-digit steals in
10
9
plus?
games.
No, he
not
didn't.
double digit. My bad.
No,
multiple steals, not double digit steals.
Oh my God. I was like,
you're like, this guy had 90 steals last year. No, excuse me. He had 9 games of multiple steals. Thank you for correcting me on that. That would have been absurd. That would have been absurd if he would have had that many steals. There was a couple games. One game he had 4 steals. One game he had 5 steals. So somebody that is, he plays a lot of defense. And yeah, I think the addition of getting somebody in the conference like a Victorious Miller would be awesome. And again, somebody that does have those ties already to a Dave Patrick. I think as the season kind of goes forward, you'll start to see why it was important that Arizona State was able to get him and then also get the former Cal Baptist coach because Arizona State has been tied to some former Cal Baptist players as well. Tylan Riley, somebody that was at Cal Baptist a couple seasons ago, actually went from Cal Baptist to Tulsa last season. Another one, Brady Heineke, played at Cal Baptist last season. A couple players that have those ties now with Arizona State, hiring some of those coaches. But kind of continuing to move along the list. I saw somebody throw this name in the chat earlier. Joel Foxwell. Joel Foxwell, like in terms of non-P4 players that we're going to talk about today, he might be one of the favorites in my eyes to potentially land at ASU. You talk about where you're going to get the points from. This is somebody as a point guard last season or just as a guard in general. I mean, scored 15 points a game, nearly 16, 4 boards a game, 6.5 assists a game. Like, he did everything last year at Portland
And
as a freshman, and he's from Australia. So it just screams Randy Bennett at Arizona State. I want this guy to be a Sun Devil, Erik.
Yeah, this is the
This
guy that
is
Totri wants the most.
if I get a guy, I want him. Give me Joel Foxwell.
Wow, over Victorious Miller.
Yeah,
I disagree with
give me
you
Joel.
there. I disagree with you. He's good though. He's an interesting dude. He's got an interesting shooting form. Very much like pickup basketball type player. And I say that complimentary. But he's good, man. Like he could put the ball in the hoop. I don't know if that's a starting point guard on a Big 12 level, but that certainly is a come off the bench and light it up type of guard, like 6-man, most important bench player type of scorer. So yeah, I mean, give me Joel Foxwell. I wouldn't take him over Victorious Miller, but he can shoot. My favorite thing is when he shoots, after he shoots it, he shoots he's got a really quick jump shot. He puts his hands down to his side and behind him after he shoots. It's instead of like the follow through, he just puts his hands down and then the ball keeps on going in. So yeah, he's an interesting player. I don't think he's a starter, but I do think that he could be your bucket off the bench.
CJ says another big thing with Joel is his brother was recruited to LSU last year by guess who? Dave Patrick. I think, again, Dave Patrick's going to be a big reason why you're able to get some of these guys. Another guard to keep an eye out on is Jordan Ross. He was at Georgia this past year. Prior to that, he was at St. Mary's under Randy Bennett. Saw his production kind of dip last year at Georgia. Went from 8 points a game to just 6 points a game from St. Mary's to Georgia. Somebody that's a little bit bigger. He's bigger than a Joel Foxwell. Is about 6'3", nearly 200 pounds. Somebody that is a P4 player. Now, did he, stuff the stat sheet? Was he just a force offensively? No, not necessarily. But if you're looking kind of for more of that P4 experience, he's played in, over 60 college basketball games over the last 3 seasons. So he gives you kind of another piece of the puzzle there. You had something, Shane?
Another Portland pilot that played with Joel, Dante Sensori Hercules. Just a real cool name that I saw on the roster.
In the portal, or just
he might be, and just he probably is. Everyone is in the portal.
Yeah, no, I guess that's fair. Everybody's in the portal except Bryce Ford. He's Sun Devil, right? So many names. Again, if you're somebody that's obsessed with ASU basketball and you want names to keep an eye on as the portal cycle moves on, Andrew Meadow, Dillan Shaw, some of the guys we went through earlier, Jacob Walker, Victorious Miller, Joel Foxwell, Jordan Ross, Brady Heinege, Tylan Riley. A lot of players Arizona State is either in contact with they've reached out to, or there are visits set to come see Tempe. And we know once you come visit Tempe, it's tough to leave just based off of just the place itself. So we'll see what Randy Bennett can do in the portal. Again, we're still just a few days in. I'm hopeful that we'll get some announcements of incoming transfers through the weekend. Hopefully that falls through until late Sunday or potentially early Monday. But those are names to keep an eye on. We're going to round out our Friday show with a little hot or not on the other side of our final.
It's getting hot outside. You know it. We all know it. And we know that when that temperature goes up, a lot of the times you check your energy bill and that number is going up as well. And our friends over at APS want to help you with exactly that problem. And they have more than one way that they want to help you. Let's check out their rate plan options where you can look back at your last couple of months of spending and compare what you would have spent with different rate plan options. Therefore, you can pick the best plan that suits your energy usage needs so that you eliminate extra costs that you shouldn't be paying every single month. But my favorite is budget billing, where they take your payment, they average it out over the year so you pay around the same amount every single month. It makes it so much easier to budget. It makes it so much easier to save, whether you're saving up for a new car, a down payment on a house, or at this point, just saving money so that you can go out and buy groceries. Every single dollar counts with our friends over at APS. So learn more about budget billing and, of course, rate plan options at aps.com/let's talk. That's aps.com/let's talk.
I can't believe we are already in April. So if your New Year's resolution for 2026 was that home makeover, that project remodeling your living room or your bathroom or your bedroom, stop procrastinating and go see our friends over at the Window Depot, okay? Because they are far more now than just a window store. Windows, of course, cabinets, they've got doors, they've introduced flooring, and so much more. They have everything that you could possibly need for that home makeover, for that home renovation. You just have to go see them because the products, they're in stock and they are ready for pickup. The best price and the biggest inventory in the game, of course, from windows and doors to cabinets and countertops. They stock more so that you spend less. No wait times, no gimmicks, just everyday low pricing and, of course, ready to go inventory that's Arizona made and locally trusted. Now, with 8 locations across the valley and, of course, windows proudly manufactured in Tucson. Go check them out, whether you're in Phoenix, Surprise, Chandler, Tucson. The list goes on and on and on. Whether you're remodeling a kitchen or tackling a multi-family build, their expert staff and no membership policy makes it easy to get what you need fast. Shop online or pick up in-store. Browse and order directly at thewindowdepot.com with real-time access to in-stock products at your nearest location. Get what you need when you need it. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button again, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. It is that time on a Friday where we got the Deli Man back in his favorite chair, his throne, if you will. He's going to toss out some topics for us to maybe argue about, maybe agree on. I don't know if we'll disagree as much as you guys did on Andrew Meadow, but we'll see. What do you got for topic number 1, Deli Man?
Topic number 1, egg salad.
White people egg salad?
Egg salad in general.
It's one. If I'm on death row, I'm eating my grandma's egg salad for sure. It's there. It's super hot. It's just different. It's not like the store bought type stuff. It's just so good. It's so hot, and I know Erik, although he is as pale as an egg, he is going to disagree with me here.
Hey man, eggs come in all different colors, okay? Yeah, I'm not an egg salad guy. I like eggs, I don't like egg salad. Just not my taste. If you like it, that's fine. I'm just gonna say not hot.
You like eggs other ways though?
Yeah.
What's your favorite egg? Favorite like way to cook an egg?
Ooh. I mean, look, man, I don't know if really anything beats like a classic scrambled, but I've been trying different things with my eggs recently. Doing like a little fried egg. Yeah, just a little fried egg. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like scrambled eggs probably the best if I had to choose.
Wes Beasy gets it. White people egg salad, just it ain't it. What do you like? You like egg salad?
What's your grandma egg salad?
It's just completely. It's nothing like.
What ethnicity is your grandma egg salad?
It's Middle Eastern. Yeah, just a lot more flavor.
Middle Eastern egg salad.
A lot.
I think I'm seeing them in concert tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they? Who's opening?
They're opening.
They are opening and closing.
No, they're opening.
Oh, for
John Mulaney.
Oh wow.
It's gonna be weird.
Are you an egg salad guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Egg salad sandwich, egg salad.
Yeah, when it's done right, man.
Yeah, it's great.
It cooks. It really does.
Maybe I just haven't had the right egg salad. Maybe I'm not around the right egg salad people.
I'd bring it to you, but honestly, it wouldn't make it. It wouldn't make it here at all.
It doesn't hold.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. No, we used to do like growing up. They'd make hummus. My parents, they'd make that, and then they'd make egg salad with it, and they'd make like 18 to 20 eggs with the egg salad. And
what's your favorite type of egg? Just scrambled boy?
No. I mean, eggs Benedict is like my favorite, like breakfast.
So you like
poached
I
like poached eggs.
You ever tried to poach an egg?
Huh?
Have you ever tried to poach an egg?
I haven't, but I've recently seen on like Instagram Reels like how you poach an egg.
It's hard.
Is it?
Yes.
It looks hard.
Because you get the wispies, and it's not easy.
The wispies. Got a bad case of the wispies.
Yeah. Do you care about my favorite type of egg?
I do.
Over medium.
Over medium?
Best type of egg.
I feel like a scrambled egg is just a basic.
Yeah, and it's also like talk about something that if done right is good, and if done wrong is horrible.
Yeah.
If you get a bad scrambled egg, it's like dry. And
my brother, when he first moved in, he like didn't know how to cook, and he would burn his eggs. Like just every morning, my house smelled like burnt scrambled eggs. And you just leave, like you scramble 4 eggs? Yeah. Like he'd walk away with 2 eggs because it was just the other 2 were cooked onto the pan.
That's crazy.
It was rough. It's rough. He's come a long way. But yeah, that's
topic number 2. Yeah. Watching like golf broadcasts.
So not hot. I get people love watching the Masters, watching all these tournaments. My brother, again, actually asked me to watch. He's like, do you want to watch the Masters? I'm like, no. Like, when I'm 80 years old, then I can sit in my chair and I can watch golf. That's not something that I feel like, as long as I can move around, I can hear, I can still see properly, I would rather do anything else than sit back and watch golf. I'd rather go play golf than go watch golf.
I hate golf. I'm not a golf guy. I am just like, it is by far and away my least favorite. I'd rather watch cricket than watch golf. Like, it's not for me. I don't play it. I don't watch it. I don't think about it. Not for me.
Playing golf, really hot, right? Z-Man says hot if you're trying to take a nap. Yeah, I love playing golf. Shane, I feel like you're going to be the opposite here. I feel like you like watching.
I really like passive TV. Like,
Okay.
if I'm like cleaning, doing something around the house, and golf is the best of that. But then, like, when it's time to lock in on like a golf tournament, like, it's so fun. It's down to the last group on a Sunday. They're down to the last 3 holes. You know, the guys are tied. There's nothing better than like playoff golf because it's just so every shot is
Nothing better. Come on.
so intense. You know I'm exaggerating. It's so good. It's so good. So obviously it's hot for me.
Okay. What do we got to bring us home?
So this is a disclaimer. I'm going to start off this one with both of you guys can. I don't want to swear. Both of you guys can F off. Trains.
Oh my god.
Oh, dude, trains rock. Yeah, trains are so hot. I drafted trains.
Shane.
Oh yeah, it was you and Noah that said that. Yeah, I'm on your side, Erik.
Yeah,
Trains are like the best.
dude.
I think
trains.
I think it's insane that Totri and Noah just scoffed at trains. It's because
Anti-train is insane.
well, anti-American train system I get because we've just do you know here's a fun fact. So do you know why the trains in the US just do not work now? Because they're super pricey and they like the technology but do you know why this happens? Because
not a lick.
Because Amtrak is the only free ad, I don't care. Is the only like it's basically the only option you have for passenger trains in the United States. But Amtrak uses freight rails. So they pay private companies to use their rail every time. That's why it's so expensive because there's been no funded infrastructure to travel by train in the United States by the government forever. It's horrible. So the idea of trains is so hot, but actually doing the train thing in the US sucks. Go to another country, dude. Trains are the best way to travel. It's not close. European trains, amazing. I'm about to go to Japan in 2 weeks. I'm so excited for their train system. Japan
trains are awesome, dude. The
China's
bullet train
system
is insane.
is ridiculous. Like, trains are the best. Talk about passive. That is the most seamless, frictionless travel ever. Like, you sit down, it's not bumpy, it's smooth. You get to see the countryside. Fuck, dude, trains are the best.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't mess with trains like that.
But why?
I'm not a train guy.
I know, but this is what you do all the time that drives me crazy. Is
Here we go.
You have an opinion on something, and you never give me a reason.
I just.
But no, you don't see that. You can't do that.
I can't tell you I like it because what would I be saying? Why would you like it? I don't fucking know why I like trains.
I know why I like trains.
Yeah.
I need to know why you don't like trains.
I haven't been on enough trains. I don't ever see myself needing to be on a train. Yeah, maybe when you describe it as like, yeah, if I'm like in Europe somewhere taking a train across to another country, yeah, I'm sure that'd be cool. I haven't done it. So I can't sit up here and lie to you and say that I fuck with trains like that because I don't.
But you say you dislike trains, and I just don't think that's true.
You either like them or you don't. This isn't hot and lukewarm.
No, but the other day, yesterday, when he drafted trains and you thought it was asinine, and you said you hate it.
Yeah,
you didn't like
draft trains second round.
Yes,
you cannot do that.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't. There are so many better modes of transportation than a fucking train, Shane. There are.
No,
there are planes. There are jets. There are cars. There are motorcycles. There are jet skis. There are boats. There are horses. There are your own 2 feet. There are so many different ways that you can get around without having to get on a damn train.
Totri.
Cars are worse. Planes are worse. You don't like flying.
Totri, you ever been on a train?
I don't like when I have to fly sun country. That's why I don't like flying. Flying, other than that's fine. It's absolutely fine. I can get
You've been on a
further on a
train?
plane than I
Have you
can
ever
a
been on a
train.
train?
Farther on a plane.
What'd I
Have you
say?
ever?
Further.
What'd you say?
You said further. It's
Guys.
farther.
Totri, you ever been on a train before? Like an
Yes.
actual train? When?
Yes, multiple trains.
When?
Years ago, I had to take a train from Illinois to Indiana.
The Amtrak.
Yeah,
they're
that sounds
horrible.
Where
awful.
else are you gonna get on a train here?
I'm giving you an out. I'm saying your experience makes sense that it was bad because it's the U.S. train system.
Yeah,
It's horrible.
it's awful. We good?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you realize that there are trains outside of the United States, right? We should end the show.
Hit the like button. I did go on the Polar Express, CJ. It was cool when I was 8. It's not cool now. Okay? Actually, the Polar Express might still rip right now. I could fuck with some hot cocoa, honestly. Guys, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. That is going to do it for today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devils Show. Make sure you follow the show at PHNX_Sun Devils on social. That's Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow the conductor, also known as Erik Ruby. That's Erik with a K. You can follow the deli man at Shane Dief. Say some.
As always. Oh, let's see.
Choo choo as always.
No, yeah. Ooh, have you ever been to the train park
No.
in Phoenix?
What'd I just tell you?
Dude, it is awesome, as always.
We'll see you on Monday. In the meantime, go Devils in peace.
We all silly like the mayor.